The next thing I want to teach you is what we call major scales. Okay, so now that you know the notes on a piano, now that you know half steps and whole steps, and you should be able to take a quiz on all this so far. Now that you have the idea of these 12 distinct major keys, 12 different worlds, meaning when you learn something in one, you learn them in the others, and you can play a song in all 12 keys when you get good. So it doesn't matter who's singing. If Aretha says, no, I don't like it in that key, take me down, you'll be able to immediately go to another planet and know that everything at that planet is the same you played in the next planet. That's the goal of musician transformation. Now, in order to get there, we got to introduce you to what we call major scales. Now, with major scales, every planet, every key has its own major scale. Now, you probably heard it. It sounds like this. Okay? That's the major scale. Every key has that. We can go to this key, and it has it. Okay? So, how do you play your major scales? There's an easy way that I developed for anybody, and it's very easy. That's why I have this button. This button reminds us
That was easy.
that is easy. Okay, now here it is. Remember I taught you about whole steps and half steps? Repeat this. Why won't he wear white when hot? Why won't he wear white when hot? It's a tongue twister. And it came to me one day because I was wearing dark colors in the summertime, and my wife said, why don't you wear something lighter? It's too hot out here, man. You know, and I said, why won't he wear white when hot? And I started thinking of whole steps and half steps. Why won't he? That's WWH, why, the first letter of every word. Why won't he? That's WWH, wear white when hot? So that's WWWH. So you got WWH, WWWH, WWH, WWWH, WWH, WWWH. Why won't he wear white when hot? Why won't he wear white when hot? Why won't he wear white when hot? Okay? And I'm silly, but it works, okay? Because it teaches you what you need to know to play major scales in any key, lest you forget. Because all you have to do is take why won't he wear white when hot, take the first letter of all those words, that will tell you the formula, whether it's going to be a whole step or a half step, and you apply that to learn your major scales. So let's take C major, for example. Why won't he wear white when hot? So first of all, and I'll write this down on my computer for you. Here it is right here, okay? Y, that's going to be W, W, H, W, 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 H. You got that? Okay, so that is the formula right there. Okay, now let's go to my piano and let's see how that makes sense. So you start at whatever world you want to be in. It doesn't matter. We could start on C, we could go to G. But wherever you start is the major scale you're going to form using my formula. Why won't he wear white when hot? Which I might say you will only get here at Hear and Play. Okay, so why? We need a W first. What's a W up from C? What's a whole step up from C? Is it C sharp, D flat? No, that's a half step. So it's D. So on a notepad, you would write down C, D. Those are the first two notes of the scale. Let's keep going in the formula. Why won't? So we need W, okay? So we got C to D. Now we need another whole step. So what's a whole step up from D, where we are right now? It's E, right? So far we got our two whole steps taken care of. Why won't he? What do we need next? You tell me. Why won't he? Half step. What's a half step up from E? Remember the formula. Half steps are from key to key with no keys in between. So that means E to F. Okay, so we got why won't he? Now we need wear white when hot. Notice it's three whole steps back to back. Wear white when. So we're going to go from F to G. That's a whole step. From G to A. That's a whole step. From A to B. That's a whole step. And then why won't he wear white when hot? So we just need another half step from B to C. So you see how I did that? I took why won't he wear white when hot and I applied it to the entire scale. Why won't he wear white when hot? And you can see it on my computer here. So that's whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Remember that. Now what I want you to do really quickly, because you're going to need to know this information in order to pass the quiz. So I want you to go to the key of F while I'm waiting, and I'll even, if you're watching this and you're not at the piano, I can help you out. I'm going to actually put up a piano screen for you here, and I'm going to start you off on F, and then I'm going to put the formula right here. Why won't he wear white, when hot? So there's the formula. Now you start at F, and I want you to tell me what notes you get. Okay, so we're gonna pause this for like 15 seconds. We're gonna come back, and I'll go over the answer with you. Okay, I'm back, and I'm excited to see what you came up with. Now, first of all, you got my formula down. Why won't he wear white when hot? Just think of Jermaine sweating up in the summertime. In fact, I'm sweating right now. We going into summer. But why won't he wear white when hot, y'all? So start at F. What's a whole step up from F? G. What's another whole step up from G? A. What's a half step up from A? B flat. What's a whole step up from B flat? C. What's a whole step up from C? D. What's a whole step up from D? E. And let's end this thing with a half step. What's a half step up from E? F. That's why won't he wear white when hot?
That was easy.
Now let's talk about minor. So we've been in the major key world. I like to think of minor keys as the moons. You know, when you studied astronomy and all that stuff, like certain planets have so many moons, I'm not an astronomer or nothing like that, but Earth has one moon, and Jupiter might have 6 or 7, I'm not sure. But every planet has moons, right? Well, and stars. Well, I like to think of minor scales as moons for established planets. In other words, minor scales aren't different, okay, the way I teach them. Other people, you would think of them as different worlds and their own thing, and then it's all hard. I like to think of minor like this. If you know major, you know minor. If you know major, you know minor. If you know major, you know minor, okay? Because for me to be on Earth, I'm going to get that moon. When I go to sleep, I'm going to see the moon that go with Earth, okay? If I go move to another planet, I'm going to see that moon. But it's not like I have to do anything. It's automatic. It is inherent. And that's what I want you to understand about minor. So how do you find a minor scale, a minor key? Okay? This is groundbreaking if you don't already know this information. Here's another key concept. Remember the number 6, okay? Remember the number 6. I know a lot of Christians, we scared of number 6. But not 3 of them, but just 1 of them. Just remember the number 6, okay? And what you do is now that you know your major scale, you go to the 6th tone of your major scale. So this kind of goes back to really knowing your numbers. You need to know what's the 6th of C? A. Bam, you need to be quick. I almost caught you, right? What is the 6th of E flat? C. You need to be quick, right? So you get this 6, you get this number really ingrained, in terms of major scales. You learn that because that's the key to unlocking minor. You go to the 6th tone of any major scale. Let me demonstrate this in the key of C. So, what is the 6th tone of C? C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5. A is the 6th tone of C. So now that you understand that, here's the concept. On the 6th tone, we call this the Aeolian mode. Don't ask me, it's Greek stuff, okay? Every key, every degree of the scale has a name. We call it a mode, okay? And there are Greek names, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, there's a bunch of names. We'll talk about that maybe later. But on the sixth tone, you don't have to know the fancy name. It's Aeolian, but who cares? That's just a name. But what it means is this is the minor mode, which means if you play the same notes of the C major scale, but start and end on the sixth tone, you will be playing that sixth tone's minor scale. I got to repeat that because I know some people are like, Jermaine, you done lost me now. Okay, basically, every major scale has a minor scale paired up with it. This major-minor relationship, they all share this. They share the same notes. If the major has black notes in it, the minor is going to have those same black notes. If the major is all white notes, the minor pair, that minor tone has the same notes as it, okay? And you figure out what is that tone by going to the sixth tone of your major scale. So we've established already that A is the minor mode that pairs up with C. Now there's a technical term for this. We call it relatives. Ain't that easy, y'all? Relatives. So A is the relative minor of C. And C is the relative major of A. A is the relative minor of C. And C is the relative major of A. You get it? Okay, so whenever somebody says go to the relative minor, if you're in the key of C, you're going to go to an A minor chord. You get it? Because A is the relative minor. It's on the sixth tone. It's on the Aeolian mode, the fancy way to say it. Okay, so how do I play an A minor scale? I just play the notes of the C major scale. But instead of starting and ending on C, I would normally, now I'm going to start and end on A. Now, does that sound a little more solemn, serious? It should, because it's an A minor scale. But I didn't have to learn anything new. It's like taking a magnifying glass. And like that octave, remember the octave talk we talked about? This is an octave, right? Well, what if I use the same exact notes and I scooted over my reference point and I did from A to A, but I didn't change the essence of the notes that I was using? That is this idea of relative minor. So therefore, I submit to you that you should know your minor scales right now. I'm serious. You should know your minor scales right now. No more homework is needed if you did your homework with your major scales. If you know your major scales, now you know your minor scales. Because if I told you draw 8, okay? If I told you to draw 8, and then, actually, let me do this on a computer. I'll be forgetting I got this computer. Okay, if I told you to draw 8, you see this? And then if I told you that starting here and ending here is a C major scale, and all you have to do is travel along this path, okay? And then you eventually got here, and that was a C major scale. And then if I said with the same 8, you don't have to change the 8, and I said if you start here and, well, no, let's not start there. Let's start, if you start here and you end here and you just go, you do something slightly different, and now you're here. And if I said that was the minor scale or the opposite, it's the same 8, if you will, but we've just changed our reference point. We've changed our direction. But if you know how to draw an 8, you know how to draw an 8. In other words, it really doesn't change. If you know that C major scale is all white notes, and instead of playing it from C to C, now you're going to play it from A to A. You get that? So you remember in the key of F? Well, F was all white notes and a black note. Remember F was, it was F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Well, to find the minor, the relative minor of F, step 1, we need to determine what number tone of that scale. What number tone? You tell me. The 5th tone? The 3rd tone? Oh, it's the 2nd tone. No, the 6th tone. So we go to the 6th tone of F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we've ascertained that that's D, as in dominoes. So now we know that the 6th tone is D. So now what do? We play that same F major scale that we already know how to play from D to D, from the 6th tone of the scale to the next sixth tone up here. So you see that? And now it's more of a serious. Minor scales are a lot more serious. Major is like happy. Majors. Okay, but minor is more. Minor is a little more serious. I don't want to say sad because, you know, minor can be very pretty. You know, minor can be very pretty. Okay, so minor and gospel is, you know, a lot of worship songs are going to hit those minor chords. But I just want you to, now when somebody talks to you, this First Fundamental Factory DVD has given you a crash course that could take months or years for people to understand. I've just shortcutted you through. You got your note names, you got the black keys, the white keys, you got the half steps, the whole steps, you got the major scales, you got the why won't he wear white when hot, you have an instant trick to learn the minor scales, you know, the sixth tone, and you just play the major with the minor, because I don't believe in all that. I mean, we could do the whole step, half step thing with minor scales. We could say, you know, start at A, and that's a whole step, and then we could do, you know, that's a half step, and then we could do that's a whole step, and then a whole step, and then a half step, and a whole step. We can create a formula for that too, don't get me wrong. Minor scales, they have their own whole step, half step formula. It's not why won't he wear white when hot, it would be something else. It would be like why, and then we need an H. Why he did something. We got to speak Ebonics to do the minor scales. But we don't have to get that far because once you know the major, you know the minor, okay? Once I know I'm related to so-and-so, we can make some shortcuts now. Then I know I'm related to so-and-so over here. You know, we can connect things. We ain't got to go back down a genealogy tree or whatever. You know, I'm just talking, y'all, but I hope that this makes sense to you.